Good morning. Happy Thursday to everybody. God bless you. Kerry Pope here. I want to talk this morning and share a very heartfelt message. Despite my smile, I'm not okay. And so I want to give time to everyone coming this morning. I hope you're having a fantastic morning. I know some will watch this in replay and some will watch it live. But I want to really talk about mental health, and really amongst men, but definitely everyone. But despite my smile, I'm not okay. God bless you, Darlene. God bless you. Welcome. So many times we have a tendency to assume how a person is doing based on how they look, their smile, their demeanor, how they carry themselves, upbeat. But I want to share something with you concerning mental health and concerning a person by the name of Twitch, who was a well-known DJ on Ellen DeGeneres' show and the movie Step Up years ago. Well-known gentleman who yesterday took his life, or the day before, but yesterday it came out that he had committed suicide. And he from the outside looking in, looked as though he had everything to going on, everything to offer. Had a beautiful family, wife, children, a successful career, established in the industry. And I watched yesterday a video of him doing just in this one, it said 24 hours before he was reported dead, doing a TikTok video with his wife, smiling, happy, being silly. And then something happened. Something happened that triggered him to get a hotel room and to end it. And mental health is always something that we as African Americans need to talk about, because we, in a sense, have been groomed. We've been groomed to hide our pain. And I say groomed because as a slave years ago, you were not able to voice your opinion, show your anger. To do so would put you probably hanging from a tree. And so we have been conditioned as African Americans to hide our mental health. Now, excuse me, they're doing some blowing behind me, so I pray that it's not too loud. But they have been trained. We have been trained as African Americans to hide our true pain, because to do so would cause us to look weak or to not be able to express. So imagine, and what I've taught for years, and I'm going to get to this point, despite the smile on my face, I'm not okay. For years, if you go back to slavery, and that's where we have really developed PTSD, because when you watch generations after generations after generations become conditioned to look down, conditions to move over when somebody's coming at them of the opposite color, to bite their tongue and not be able to speak their truth. When that conditioning passes down from generation to generation to generation, you have mastered how to smile but be broken on the inside. And when I was reading about Twitch and looking at the videos and seeing this, I saw someone like myself and some of you who has been conditioned to smile. Conditioned to smile. How many of you right now could be honest and say, Kerry, I find myself smiling when I'm really crying. I find myself saying it's okay when it's really not okay. I've become conditioned to just take it and go, because I don't know why. I'm telling you why, because you've been conditioned through generations and life to just take it. And when we see something like with Twitch and other people who kill themselves, who go to the extreme measures, it's really a meltdown mentally. Not being able to no longer dance to the song. Not able to hide no longer the pain. And what's crazy, hey Kurt, how you doing, my brother? So many people, that's right, rest in peace, Twitch. So many people have the tendency to hide behind a smile. Smokey Robinson said it best, the tears of a clown when no one's around. We have mastered how to hide our pain because so many people are dependent upon you. Imagine if Twitch was really wanting to just get out of the industry or just quit what he was doing and pursue something else. When you've done something so long to where your identity is linked to what you've done, it's almost like you're in a prison. And when people try to reinvent themselves, sometimes to do so, people won't let you out of how they become to know you as, what they become to know you as, become aware of your knowledge, your wisdom, your gifting. You know, it's sometimes just, and I've heard this from a lot of celebrities that I've dealt with or those that I've studied or been around, they just want simplicity. And how many of you can be honest and say, Kerry, I've had thoughts come through my mind from time to time. Maybe not to go to the full extreme of taking myself out, but maybe to take myself out because of the pain that's internal. And if we be honest, the ones that commit suicide is when it's a shock, it's because the person seemed to be full of life and validity, and they just had everything going on, only to melt down behind closed doors mentally. If you're struggling with mental health, if you're struggling with feeling hopeless and helpless, please reach out. Please find someone you can confide in, some professional or someone you can just say, listen, I'm not well. I know you see me smiling, but I'm not doing good. To my African-American men, I need you to stop trying to be so powerful and strong and invincible and become vulnerable and say, listen, bro, I'm struggling. And I don't know if I can stay here. I'm tired. I was talking to an individual the other day, and when she was talking to me, she just started crying and she said, I'm tired. I'm tired. And I know that sound. And I said to her, I said, you will not harm yourself, nor will any harm come to you. Because when a person says, I'm tired, what they're saying is they're really ready to let go. They're ready to give it up. They're ready to throw in the towel. They've had enough. And if I could be honest with you, some of the reason why some people have not committed suicide is simply because in their mind they've been told that to kill yourself will put you in a lake of fire. You'll burn forever and ever and ever. But what if the person is in hell already? What if the person is in hell on earth? That every day they're waking up manic depressed. They're waking up with nothing to look forward to. They're waking up and the whole world is depending on them to be their savior, and they can't even save themselves. The pressure to perform, the pressure to be what everybody needs them to be. There's nothing left for you to be what you need to be for yourself. If you be honest this morning, how many of you feel so pressured that you just want to break? And believe it or not, what happens when a person doesn't take regular breaks? And I'm an advocate for vacationing. I'm an advocate for taking breaks, mental breaks, because listen, ladies and gentlemen, just like a car, if you don't take your car in to be serviced, it's going to break down. It's going to tear up. And some of you right now are riding around in life with your light on, your engine check light on, and you refuse to do the maintenance necessary, the mental maintenance, the heart maintenance, the emotional maintenance. Some of you are still carrying around former lovers, former scars from your children, scars from your molestation, scars from rape, scars from things that happened to you in life, and you're still going around smiling as though you're over it, but internally you know you're not. You deal with spiritual PTSD, and some of you are dealing with actual PTSD because of all the stuff you've gone through in life. What's up, Stan? God bless you, my brother. And so I'm an advocate for taking mental breaks. Some of you right now have sick days out of the world on your job. Take them. Take the vacations. The company won't end. The company won't go under while you're gone, because can I say something to you? If you have a meltdown, if you have a moment of insanity, when a person commits suicide, they have a moment of insanity or temporary insanity, where at that moment, they just want the pain to go away. Despite my smile, I'm not okay. And so many people are smiling and saying, oh, I can't believe that happened to him. I can't believe that happened to her. They were just so full of life. Were they really full of life, or were they smiling to hide the pain deep inside? Can you attest to that? Can you attest to having been in that position in life to where you may have not wanted to, commit suicide, but if you didn't wake up, you'd have been okay. You would have been okay. You'd have been fine if you didn't wake up. Yes, the people behind me were hurt. Yes, they would miss me, but I wouldn't have to deal with the pain that I deal with every day. I'm talking to someone this morning. I've been there before. I've been there to where had it all ended, I'd have been okay. The pain was so great, but God got me through it. Therapy, vital. Counselors, vital. Pastors, life coaches, vital. You need an outlet to help you govern that which is bottled up inside. And I hate that Twitch took his life, because there's a wife waking up broken. There are children that are breaking up, scarred for the rest of their life. There's this dark cloud that hangs over his name. And despite all the many people that he made smile, despite all the many people that danced and sang his praises, the one thing that they're going to always remember about him is that he took his life. Nobody's asked the question, why did he take his life? What triggered him to take his life? And that's what I want to make sure that you get the help needed mentally, so that you don't have something, that one thing, that straw that broke the camel's back, that one thing that throws you over the edge to the point that you say, the hell with this, I'm out. I'm gone. If there's a hell, then guess what? It can't be no worse than the hell I'm in. That's people. And let me say something to you. I remember talking to this young man. I'm with you too, Stan. Why? Because something triggers. When a person commits suicide, they have been triggered. I remember this young man who I had to, as a pastor, talk to. And when I tell you, as a father, and especially a father of daughters, I was so broken. His daughter committed suicide. And this is what triggered her. She was dating this guy, or so she thought. And gentlemen, if you're listening, and even you too, ladies, I want you to hear something. Don't get with someone just to get between their legs or to get what they have. I'm talking real this morning. Don't get with somebody because you want to go along until you get what you get from them. Then you drop them like a bad habit. You get the sex, you get the money, you get all this. And now that you reach a certain plateau in life, you drop them because they're no longer needed. That's a user. And that's a special place in hell for users. A special place in hell for users. But the young man's daughter, she, I want y'all to hear this. The boyfriend told her he no longer wanted her. He said that he got what he wanted from her and that she was too fat. That she was too big and that he no longer wanted her. He wanted somebody smaller. That was funny. She was the same size when he got between her legs. She was the same size when he was using her to get what he wanted. But now, on to the next one. And when she did that, and forgive me guys, people cleaning around me of all mornings. When she told him, and here's the thing, he broke up with her outside her house. When he broke up with her, boy, everybody named Mama's bringing equipment around me. I'm sorry, guys. When he broke up with her, when he said, I'm done, she immediately went in the house, got her dad's gun, put it to her heart, pulled the trigger. Dead. Dad runs in and finds his daughter on the floor, dead. He said it was his fault as a father that he wasn't able to protect his daughter. And he cried. I mean, when I say he cried so profusely. He cried like with every, I mean, as a father, I can't even imagine walking in and seeing my daughter on the floor with a hole in her heart. The boy put a hole in her heart and she finished it with the gun. But she had a moment, a temporary insanity, a moment of temporary pain. She just wanted the pain to go away. She just wanted to end it right then. And people will size you up and call you weak because you have a moment. Some of us right now, by the grace of God, we're still here. Because we've had some moments, guys. I've had some moments. I've had some moments to where that song, if it had not been for the Lord who was on my side, tell me, where would I be? I wouldn't be living. I wouldn't be. And somebody says, well, that's selfish. To commit suicide is selfish. Well, listen, it's funny that it's selfish when they kill themselves, but it's not selfish when they take on all the pains that you cause them. It's not selfish when you cause pain to the person by using them. It's not selfish when you hurt them with things that you do, but it's selfish when they check out because they can't take the pain no longer. I don't know who I'm talking to this morning, but let's stop judging people who are struggling with mental health. And let's maybe start saying a prayer and guiding them to where they can go to get help. And I'm going to tell you something. Be careful what you say about people if you've never stayed in their shoes. If you've never been in the position of being that low. If you've never been in a situation that makes you have that moment of saying, I'm out of here. Stan said, we all have weathered the storm, cuz, but in a much better place now, thank God. Yes, that's it, Stan, a much better place. But here's the problem with some people who trusted God, watch this, but God didn't answer them in the way they thought he should have. Then they say, where is God? So they are in a moment of temporary insanity. Notice I said a moment of temporary insanity. The Bible tells us, weeping may endure for a night. Weeping may endure for a moment, which is a night, but joy comes in the morning, meaning that this trouble is not always going to be here, but you got to get with the people that can help you get through your moment. I had people in my corner. I had people that I trusted with my life that helped save my life. Do you have anybody in your corner? Do you have anybody around you that can help save your life? And if you don't, my prayer today is that you find someone, whether it's a therapist, whether it's a life coach, whether it's a pastor, whether it's a family member, someone that you can confide in the pain that you're feeling. Because I don't want to turn on the television. I don't want to turn on Facebook. I don't want to read a thread that says someone who heard this message, or maybe should have heard this message, are no longer here because they killed themselves. They committed suicide. They wanted the pain to go away. And despite the smile on their face, despite the smile on my face sometimes, we're not okay. We just have mastered how to listen, you'd be surprised how many people turn on the camera and master the smile. They've mastered how to look, how to sound, how to feel. And they smile and they give you all the joy and all the hope. And the very moment that they press finished, they got to go back into the world that they really live in. All right? So despite the smile you see on people's face, they're not okay. And sometimes, instead of being selfish, say, hey, it's not about me today, but how are you doing? There's days when Rebecca and I, we're busy, we're husband and wife, we're entrepreneurs, we are people who, we help others. But there's times where we have to say, how's Rebecca doing today? How's Carrie doing today? Not the entrepreneur, not the husband, the individual. And when the individual can be honest and safe and say how they feel without being judged, then you can get the help needed. Let me tell you this, I'm going to close with this. One of the very reasons why a person can't be truthfully open and honest is at the very moment they open up to be vulnerable and you go, what? Or smack your eyes or do a certain look about yourself, it shuts them down. That's why therapists are trained to not show emotions when listening to something, because those emotions or those nonverbal cues can cause a person to shut down because they feel embarrassed because they're being vulnerable. Have you allowed someone a safe space or place to be vulnerable? Because I guarantee you that sometimes it's in that position of vulnerability that the real person can come out, because they're afraid of being rejected. They're afraid of being ostracized. They're afraid of looking like a fool. So despite the smile, I'm not okay. Some of the people around us are not okay. And I want you today, as I get ready to let go, if you don't have someone to speak with, I do sessions with people all the time. Feel free to inbox me and say, Kerry, I need a session with you. Or find your therapist, or find someone that you can truly be honest with, that's not going to judge you, that's not going to look at you as though you're crazy. Some of you have been in love before and got so hurt that you never did the work to heal that wound. So now you have an emotional calluses on your heart to where nothing can even get in. So you're mean. But you want to love again. You really do. So this morning, I want to encourage you to book a session with me if you need to. Find a therapist. Well, whatever it takes, get the help needed. Because I don't want to read about you. I don't want to open up and see that you've taken yourself out because the pain was too much. And I'll close with this. For those of you that feel like you just have to be honest and true and tell people how you really feel, but you don't do it with tact and you don't do it with love. You can correct with love, but there's some people that are straight up bullies that just feel like they just got to correct you. You got to be careful when you do stuff like that, because you never know that you may be the straw that breaks somebody's back, that causes them to go. If someone comes to you and says, I did something, you say, oh, you are stupid. You're just a fool. I can't believe you did that. What's wrong with you? Oh my God, you're embarrassing me. How the ham sandwich am I embarrassing you when I'm the one? And when you do that to people, what happened is they'll say, you know what? The only person that really believed in me is now dogging me out. I'm out. Be careful how you address a person, because you could be the trigger that causes them to pull the trigger. That's deep. You can end up being the trigger that causes them to pull the trigger. We have to be smart to the point where we are mindful of what we say. Don't be quick to run off at the mouth because your ego or because you feel like you got to get someone told. No, sometimes you got to be quiet and let them have that one. Because sometimes people are trying to tell you how they really feel, but they don't know how to express it. So it comes out as though they're being this or that when they're really just expressing. And because of your sensitive self, you don't know how to take it. So you're one to kind of tell people in a rough way. Sometimes that roughness can cause a person to say, I'm out. Don't be the trigger that causes someone to pull the trigger. Anybody? I don't know why. Well, I do know why. God said someone need to hear that this morning. I had to come. I was going to do this yesterday. God said, no, do it this morning. Despite my smile, I'm not okay. Don't be the trigger that causes someone to pull the trigger. And then when they kill themselves, I don't know what got into them. You did. You got into them with your mean self, with your, Lord, y'all, I feel something inside me, because you got to be mindful. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of things I could say to people, but there's a way to say it to where it's received and it's given in love. Because if you do it the wrong way, you may be sitting at the person's funeral knowing what you said and what might have been the last words that took them out. Okay? So I hope this message has helped someone today. I hope that you've had opportunity to really listen to what I was sharing with you. Despite my smile, I'm not okay. Despite their smiles, they're not okay. Mental health is real. As I stated earlier, some of you that came in, African Americans have been conditioned to hide their true emotions. This happened through slavery. You couldn't eyeball anyone. You couldn't say anything. If you did, you was made an example out of, and it sent a message to the rest of them. Don't try this. And that mentality passed down from generation to generation to generation to where now we have been trained and conditioned to hide your true feelings go with status quo. But that's not real. Emotional trauma, mental illness is real. And if you're struggling with it, book a session with me, or find a therapist, or find a life coach, or find your pastor, but don't sit back and do nothing. Okay? Please feel free to inbox me. Thank you, Kurt. Kurt's my brother, man. That's my brother from another mother. I love me some Kurt Willer now. If Kurt's having a fight, he might have started, but I'm going to help him finish it. That's just how we do. So God bless all of you. Have a great Thursday. Share this message with someone who needs to hear it. Who needs to hear it. All right, guys. Happy Thursday, despite the smile on my face.